But there you have it, guys. The Incinerator Flamethrower. With the release of No Man's Sky Endurance and a couple of the last updates, I've kind of noticed a pattern. And what it seems like is Hello Games seems to, while they're giving us new stuff and new updates, they seem to be going back to old features that have been in the game and making them good or completely redoing them. Just now with the latest update, we got the whole freighter rebuilding, which is completely new system to something we already had in the game. Back in Frontiers, they did the same thing with the building overhaul. That was something we already had in the game, but they redid it. And also in Endurance, they finally, and this, guys, the Living Ship update came out like 2 years ago or something like that. They finally finished living ships. Their living ships are now, right up there with any other ship almost. They can have scanners now. You can expand the storage now. These were things that you couldn't do before. They were just stuck, with whatever storage you got. So with that said, I wanted to go over 5 features that are currently in the game that I think are unfinished, and we may see some kind of update come to them in the near future. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is settlements. Now, the settlements came out with the Frontiers update. And the settlements are basically a small town simulation game. But they've been in the game. We've had them for about a year right now. And I have to say, they're really not much fun. They're just not much fun. It seems like the same stuff happens over and over after a certain point. I don't even know if they work right. Mine seems to, none of this after a certain point ever increased again. I don't know. But I don't want to know either. I don't care. So that's what kind of makes me feel like there's... Oh, jeez. 4 citizens have left. See? But I just feel like this feature... while it's neat to be an overseer of your own settlement, the only actual fun I've gotten out of these is when you build your own stuff add-on, like that thing I built up there. But everything else is just kind of a minor annoyance. It's like, come back, do this same sentinel fight. It's always the same fight with these sentinels. It never changes. It's always these same sentinels. And they always just kind of do the same thing. So there's no real challenge in it. It's just like a minor annoyance. So it makes me wonder, though, is this just the basis for something? The settlements as they are now, and they're going to add to it later and make it like a heck of a lot better. Something where maybe you had some say in your settlement and what that settlement produces, and you could basically make it like a farm. So rather than going out and putting all the work into building an activated indium farm, you could configure your settlement in some kind of way where it would produce something like activated indium or something you wanted. I don't want these things, either of them. But there's no way that I know of to change them. So settlements, I feel like, are a feature that are not really finished. They put them in the game, and yeah, there's a little something to do with them, but it's I don't know, most people I know don't pay attention to their settlement much, and if they do, it's really just because they're building at it, because you do get the benefit of having the NPCs walking around, which is really cool. So they're fun in that way, but as far as like the little town simulation and all that, I don't know. I don't really get it, and it seems unfinished. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about the settlements. Next up, Exocrafts. So Exocrafts are very cool. We have a few different types of them. And who wouldn't want vehicles to explore a planet? They look good, but the thing is with these is they're just again, they're just really not that useful. They're useful to kind of like use for extra storage, but for what their purpose is supposed to be, no, they're not good for exploring a planet. They're too slow. They kind of are hard to maneuver with. But the speed is probably like one of the biggest problems with these. But yeah, I mean, for having a vehicle like this, wouldn't it be better if like each one was maybe meant for a certain planet type, and on that planet type or something, it worked really well. Just right now, like, again, this is another feature I feel like a lot of people don't really use, other than just kind of playing around with them, maybe making a crazy racetrack or something. Aside from that, I don't really know anyone who uses them for their intended purpose, except for maybe the scanners, because if you didn't know, the Exocraft scanners are awesome. They're all a little bit different. So like this one can scan for alien structures, so that's how you can find a portal. And like the sub can scan for underwater crash ships, so you can get free ships with the sub. Now, as most of you know, in the Sentinel update, we did get an upgrade for the Exomech, and I think this was fantastic. It made it AI. It controls itself. It helps you fight the Sentinels, but you can still get in it if you want and control it like that. Hugely improved, I thought, over what it originally was, which was not, again, I would have said a not very useful thing. So what I'm thinking is, at some point, again, in the future, are these other Exocrafts going to get some love like the Exomech did, and get some sort of, do-over where they're actually kind of useful? Because they are fun and they look cool, especially in first-person mode. Like, I don't know if you've ever checked these out, but like the insides of these look really cool, and they could be fun. They're just so slow, even when you fully upgrade them, and they're, every one of them to me feels wonky to steer around a planet. So yeah, I don't know, to me they feel unfinished, at least for today's game. Maybe at the time they came out they were better, but at least for now they feel like an unfinished feature that I could see Hello Games coming back to and upgrading. So while the Sentinel update did give us an upgrade to weapons for multi-tools that we could use, it did not include this one, which is so strange to me. This is the incinerator, and for those of you who don't know, this was found in the game a long time ago. I want to say over a year. This was not something that was data mined. This was someone found a multi-tool at like an outpost, and it had this incinerator module on it. And Hello Games quickly after that removed it from the game, but people at that point it had already been shared around the internet, so people were able to get it. So it's a flamethrower. I really would have thought this would have came in the Sentinel update. It didn't. But what I can tell you about it is multiple times, and I've had it since it was first found, they have updated the graphics on it, and they've also programmed in the haptic feedback for the PS5 on it, which wasn't there. So it's got to be something that's coming at some point. So yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic. It's pretty good too. I've used it in fights against Sentinels and things like that. So it's really neat. But what happened to it? I mean, I don't know. It's in the game for a minute. People got it. Now, there are ways, if you play on PC, there are ways you can still get this. But that's a PC only thing, not a console thing. You're going to have to use some outside programs and, get a little crazy. But there you have it, guys. The Incinerator Flamethrower. Okay, and of course I had to save the best for last. The station override. Now, this has been in the game since the Prisms update, and you can interact with it. And it tells you some things that don't make much sense. Now, after the Outlaws update, you can use this machine to restore some of your faction if you have a forged passport. So it does have some use, but there's another use to it that still is not in the game. So if you have a station override, which you can get from doing missions in pirate stations, you can input that. But this is all it ever says. Counterfeit code detected, access denied. Now, if you didn't know, and then it says all this bit about glass. I don't know what they're talking about there. Very strange. But if you did Expedition 3, I believe it was, one of the rewards for one of the milestones was the station override. And it had no use then. So the station override has no use in the game, but it's been in the game for a while now. So that makes me... Alright, so this thing is definitely unfinished, whatever its full functions are. But while we're in here on the subject of space stations themselves, what about space stations? They're not unfinished, but I could see them getting redone. I mean, we just got new pirate systems, and now they have updated these, you know, a bit recently with like the fog looks thicker and stuff, but still we have problem with ships clipping through the sides and stuff like that. So I wonder if we're gonna get all new space stations at some point, and maybe this bit back here is just the first part of that. They put that in, but they're gonna redo the whole station. It seems like they're going back and finishing and tying stuff kind of together, which I think is fantastic. I mean, I think it was brilliant the way they tied together living ships with living frigates and frigate missions. Finally making the frigate missions a bit more fun because you could get upgrades for your living ship, and making living ships a bit more fun since you can now upgrade them. So I think that was brilliant, and I think they might start doing more stuff like that. And I think some of these things we touched on in this video might be some of the things that you see in the future get some love, as we say, like Freighters just did. But will we see settlement love, Exocraft love, space station love, flamethrower love? I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comments below. And listen, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And once again, I am Xxiou from Xxiou Games. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.